Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium for varsity soccer action. Please welcome our guests from Lake Brantley High School. They are the Patriots. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. On the field for the Patriots, we have defender, junior number 14, Aaron Myers. Midfielder, junior number 18, Louis Terran. Defender, junior number 6, Noah Robertson. Goalkeeper, junior number 1, Andrew Muller. Defender, junior number 5, Robert Soto. Midfielder, junior number 37, Mason Lightfritz. Midfielder, senior number 12, Kevin Gomez. Midfielder, senior number 10, Lucas Toledano. Forward, senior number 11, Samuel Lugo Rodriguez. And defender, senior number 13, Amir Edwards. And the head coach of the Patriots, Kevin Sowers. And assistant coaches, Eduardo Toledano and Perez Nascimento. As for the Mustangs, we have senior number 1, Frederick Gonzalez, sophomore number 2, Oscar Ramirez, junior number 3, Schneider LaFleur, senior number 4, Victor Martinez, junior number 5, Luis Rosas, freshman number 6, Jamale Leonce, senior number 7, Lenford Grandison, sophomore number 8, Miguel Campaverde, sophomore number 9, Jose Escalante, senior number 10, Amir Carlisle, sophomore number 11, Isaiah Dupree, senior number 12, Giovanni Galarzo. Senior number 15, Tyler Geary. Senior number 16, Alex Duenas. Junior number 17, Connor Adkins. Senior number 18, Keith Clarissier. And sophomore goalkeeper, Josh Zetrenis. Head coach of the Mustangs, Kevin Glick. Assistant coach, Matt McCransky. And my name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs. Happy to welcome you to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium for the season opener for Wekiva and the Patriots. This is the first day of soccer season, opening day. Some teams participated in preseason classic events last week, but this is the first day of the regular season. The first day a game can legally be played in the 2020 soccer calendar year. Of course, we are delighted that our soccer programs, along with all of our winter sports, are able to get a full-length season in. This is exactly the same start date that we were always supposed to have, coronavirus or not. And so the winter sports did not suffer the same fate as fall sports of having a severely trimmed season. Volleyball had just a 4-week season. Football, by eliminating the bye week, was at least able to get 8 weeks into the regular season. Cross-country, bowling, golf, all of those sports had severe limitations placed on the length of their calendar, and so the winter sports calendar is untouched. We have had some changes to the scheduling practices. I know some basketball tournaments got canceled because they just required too many staff to come into contact with each other over the course of too many days, and so we completely understand that. But we've had some creative solutions to those issues and some alternative events that our teams have been able to become a part of. And soccer. The great thing about soccer being a non-contact sport, it is considered one of the relatively lower risk activities. And so we are delighted to be able to bring you soccer season. Today, of course, the opening game for the boys team. The girls are on the road tonight to open their season. And then coming up on Thursday, the girls have their first foray here at home. There's our first shot of the night, and it is saved. Shot taken there by number 6, Noah Robertson, and taken care of by Zetrenis. So on Thursday, we will actually not be broadcasting the girls, well, we will be broadcasting the girls' soccer game, but we will be doing it using some new innovative technology. We have a new system known as a Pixelot that has been installed at the stadium. And so normally we wouldn't be able to broadcast the girls' soccer game at all because our crew is going to be inside in the arena broadcasting the girls' basketball preseason classic, the 9th annual preseason classic that features Evans, City of Life, Colonial, Lake Mary, and Wekiva. And as well, Seminole. I knew I forgot one. So a total of 6 schools participating in that event. That's happening Tuesday and Thursday in the arena. We're going to broadcast both days of that. Now, normally, in any other year, that would mean that we wouldn't be able to broadcast the soccer game because we have neither the human personnel nor the technology resources to broadcast 2 games at once. But no longer. We have the Pixelot available to us. So just as manager expectations, don't expect it to be quite as polished as you would normally be used to seeing from when we have a human-operated camera from our broadcast production team. But it will get the job done for us and allow us to do what we've never done before, which is to be able to broadcast 2 home games at once. There is one other catch to that, and that is that the Pixelot broadcasts are exclusively available on the NFHS network, not on YouTube. When we do the manual broadcasts, we can send them to both. There was a shot. It's saved initially, and it across the plane to the goal, waiting for the signal. It did not, so that will be a save for the Mustangs. Patriots pick up their second shot of the night, but not able to connect on that one. Nice work by Zatrenis. As a reminder, anytime you're looking for our live stream links or the rest of the schedule, maps to away games, ticket links once we are able to offer tickets again, stats, a link to the live scoreboard. We have a mechanism by which you can actually see anything that's going to a scoreboard at Wekiva. You go to wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard. It will show you whatever is currently connected. So if you pull it up right now, you'll see a soccer scoreboard. If you pull it up on Tuesday, you'll see a basketball scoreboard. And we link those to the schedule whenever a game is live. But just go to wekivamustangs.com. You'll see our complete schedule there, not just for soccer, but for all of our winter sports. And anywhere you see a little video camera symbol, you can click on it, and it will tell you where you can watch. Again, for our home games, we will typically broadcast those on both YouTube and the NFHS network, except for the postseason because of rights issues. We can only broadcast those on NFHS. For away games, we always will ask the hosting school what their broadcasting plans are, and whatever they tell us, we will hook that into the schedule, whether it's YouTube, Facebook Live, Periscope, it could be NFHS Network, any platform that you can imagine. If they can stream it and we can find it, then we will link to it on the schedule. And so that's, again, always at wekivamustangs.com. You'll notice that there are not a lot of video icons yet, and that's because we're still working on setting up all of those live streams, but don't worry, they are coming. We are planning on broadcasting every single home game this year for any combination of basketball, soccer, and wrestling. So again, if you don't see the video link yet for a home game, rest assured it's coming. It just takes some time to go in and punch all of those into YouTube and NFHS. Mustangs cleared out of the box, but it is quickly absorbed by the Patriots, courtesy of that's number 13, Amir Edwards. Play gets a little bit physical there for Lucas Toledano, who scuffles with Victor Martinez. Mustangs ultimately come up with it, and are going to get it across midfield, but not for long as it's intercepted by Robert Soto. Soto takes it all the way himself. I think that was a shot. And the Mustangs get in the way of that one. Got a sideways one coming in here from number 9, Abraham Payne. Zatrenis all over it. To the waiting feet of Mason Lightfritz. Patriots stay in control. Here comes a shot and a goal. Patriots are put on the board by number 18, Luis Terran. They lead 1-0 with 29:25 remaining in the first half. Ball goes out off of Grandison. Patriots get the throw in and go back to work. 28:50 remaining in the first half. Of course, at the high school level, JV matches are played with two 30-minute halves, varsity with two 40-minute halves. And for those of you who are more accustomed to following the major league and professional level and association football games, you may be accustomed to having a clock that counts up and never stops, with stoppage time added at the end. That is not the case in high school. In high school, the clock counts down, and the clock is stopped for goals, cards, injuries, and other extended stoppages of play at the referee's discretion. And then when the clock hits 0, it really means 0. Mustangs have got a good look. One guy to beat, and it is deflected away. The shot taken by Mustangs' Amir Carlisle, who is also doing double duty this year as the kicker for the football team. Those of you who watched the first couple of Wekiva games know that the first couple of Wekiva football games know that Wekiva was suffering greatly in the kicking position, and it is in for a goal. Yes, it is a stoppage and a goal. That was, I think Carlisle was involved in that, and so was Rosas. Let's watch the replay here. Rosas to Carlisle, and the Mustangs are on the board to tie the score 1-1 with 27 minutes to go in the first half. And I was mistaken. That was Grandison, I think. I'm shuttling back now and watching the replay here. Yes, it was. It was Grandison off of Rosas. For those of you who watch the JV contest, you know we started out under a deluge that we have been enduring all day here in Central Florida, from Tropical Storm and briefly Hurricane Eta as it crossed the Keys. And I don't think anyone was really expecting to get the impact this far north of the storm center. Maybe later in the week as it makes the predicted elbow turn and comes back, but certainly not now, as the storm did not make landfall at all on Florida's mainland, but exploded in size just as it approached the Florida Peninsula. And while we were not officially under any sort of inland tropical storm warnings, as we get a shot here from number 6, that is Noah Robertson, that goes high and over the Mustangs net. We were not under any official tropical storm inland warnings. However, we did get just at the very edge of where those tropical storm force winds were reported in the very early morning hours this morning, and it has downpoured on and off all day long, including throughout probably the first 2/3 of the JV contest here. We had to film that one from inside the press box, and you saw cascading waterfalls coming over the press box. And now things have cleared up nicely. Things are starting to dry out. We've got a beautiful cool breeze and a very pleasant evening now that all the players are already sopping wet. Soccer, of course, is generally unaffected by rain, only lightning, and in football that would have been good for 3, but in soccer it's good for nothing. But a good boot there from Jacob Perez. It's high and over. 7th shot of the game for the Patriots. Mustangs have only taken 1 shot, but it counted. Actually, that's not right. They took 2. Varsity Patriots demonstrating some of that same speed that we saw from the JV team earlier. While the Mustangs were able to keep the score relatively low on defense with a 3-0 victory, the Patriots were in command of possession that entire game. And the offsides call here will give the ball to the Mustangs, so that shot won't count in the stats. this game has also favored the Patriots in terms of possession and control. However, not quite as lopsidedly as in the JV contest. And it reflects on the scoreboard as well. The Mustangs have only taken 2 shots right in a row there, but the second one connected. A well-placed throw-in that managed to glance off of Rosas and then ultimately found the net. Here comes a shot, and another high out-of-control shot that is well wide by number 47. That's Jacob Perez. And that takes us to the midpoint of the first half. The Mustangs and the Patriots tied 1-1 at intermission of the first half, and a correction to the earlier call. I had a chance to go back and look at that on replay, and it looks like Luis Rosas had the assist to Lenford Grandison to put the Mustangs on the board. So it's a 1-1 ball game with 20 minutes remaining in the first half. Dr. Andre Baptiste is excited to announce that coming soon, he'll have Baptiste Dentistry for Kids opening at the Apopka location. Healthy teeth and beautiful smiles go hand in hand, and now you'll be able to go to one place for all of your kids' dentistry and orthodontic needs. Baptiste Dentistry for Kids will provide services for children as young as 1 year old all the way to their late teens. The new modern office is in the heart of Apopka, across from Kitland Nelson Park, offering you a perfect opportunity for coordination of your child's dental and orthodontic care. Call their office at 407-801-7775 for more information on Baptiste Dentistry for Kids. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to welcome you to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, as we see a little bit of rain starting to pick up here again. Not nearly as heavy as what we saw earlier, but a fine mist starting to coat the field. These players, of course, are already soaking wet because they were practicing and warming up during the JV contest. If we have to, we will pull our camera equipment back into the press box again, which will offer a slightly diminished view, but still a pretty good opportunity to watch the game. We are grateful that you were able to join us on YouTube or the NFHS network. We ask that while you're here, if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you can be notified whenever we go live, as we plan to do very often over the next few months. Winter is one of our busiest seasons, since we have both boys and girls basketball, boys and girls soccer, and wrestling all going at the same time. And basketball and soccer certainly have a lot more games in their season compared to football. So we are looking forward to a lot of live streaming this year because, of course, Orange County's policy remains as it was before during the fall season, that the only tickets available are tickets that are obtained by family members through the athletes. General admission tickets are still not for sale for regular season games. As we get going again here, official timeout is over, and we are back to live action. Just under 20 minutes remaining in the first half between the Patriots and the Mustangs here on opening night of the 2020 soccer season. Soccer season this year is full length, as are all of our winter sports, and we hope it stays that way. Some protocols have been added to enhance the health and safety of our players, coaches, and fans. Soccer is a sport that does not need a whole ton of adaptation because it is not a contact sport. It's outdoors, it's open field, and so relatively speaking, it is a sport that does not require a lot of adaptation to be played safely. But there are a few adjustments as far as distancing on the sidelines and mask policy, and of course protocols for fans and scorekeeping. You'll see that when we get to basketball, there are some protocols in place as far as the bench and who sits at the score table, and some referees will opt to use electronic whistles instead of whistles that they blow air into. Volleyball, we eliminated coin tosses and switching of sides. So you'll see some changes like that being put into place, some administrative aspects of the game, but anything that is substantive to the actual play of the game has been largely left intact. And so the winter sports again this year are full-length seasons, and we hope that they stay that way. Of course, we got some very promising news, if you watched the news over the weekend, about vaccine trials making some very promising results. And we hope that that is going to continue to move us in the direction we need to move to get back to a sense of normalcy. And as much as we love to have all of you on the live stream, and we hope you will continue to watch the live streams anytime you're not able to be here in person for whatever the reason, we're not going to stop offering the live streams no matter what happens with the virus, but we would love to have more of you here in person to cheer for our athletes. And we hope we get a chance to do that very soon. Speaking of the calendar, you may have noticed that without regard to the pandemic, this was something that was decided actually last year. There was a period of time when the FHSAA had slid the entire winter sports calendar a week earlier than it is right now. It was this way before, and then it was a week earlier, and now it's shifted back. But when it was a week earlier, we were actually playing soccer games on Halloween. I remember that because I remember playing Toccata and Fugue in D minor for pregame music one year when we had a home soccer match on Halloween. But now we are back to what I think for most coaches is a more comfortable cadence to the season, particularly when you get into basketball, because one of the consequences of sliding the whole calendar 1 week earlier was that it pushed boys basketball preseason classic week into the week of Thanksgiving, which then precluded the opportunity to do any kind of regular season tournament or special event the week of Thanksgiving, which was not a great satisfier for basketball coaches. And so now things are back to the way they were before. The girls soccer team also has their season opener tonight, but they are on the road. They'll be home on Thursday. And then, of course, also this week, the girls basketball team hosts the 9th annual preseason classic. This will be Wekiva's 14th season overall, and it'll be 9 consecutive years that they have hosted the preseason classic. Both the boys and the girls are proud to continue that tradition. Boys and girls basketball have both hosted the preseason classic going back, gosh, as far as I can remember. I've been announcing basketball since the school opened, and it has been quite a while that each of those teams have hosted the preseason classic every year. The teams that participate have come and gone. This year the girls will be hosting Evans, Seminole, Colonial, Lake Mary, and City of Life, in addition to Wekiva. Wekiva plays at 8:30, both Tuesday and Thursday, and the other games will be at 5:30 and 7 on each of those nights. We'll be carrying all of those. Logan Taylor not quite able to get there in time, and it slips out of control, but Jacob Perez is there to mop it up, and he shoots and scores. And just like that, what was starting to unravel as a play for the Patriots turns into a goal. Jacob Perez adds to the Patriots score, and they retake the lead 2-1 with 15 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the first half. And a fast move from midfield. Patriots are unable to chase down their own ball, and it goes straight into the waiting arms of Zatrenis. Wekiva wearing the maroon and gold rugby pattern. Patriots wearing the white with red accent jerseys. Mayer's in the backfield. And here come the Mustangs. Not able to get there fast enough, though. Taken over by Amir Carlisle, and he gets tripped up. Free kick coming to the Mustangs. Just under 13 to go in the first half. Right into the arms of the goalkeeper, Petters. Patriots get it to the other side of the field quickly. There goes Perez. He just got the goal a moment ago. And we're getting an offsides call. Mustangs catch a break. Juan, your question was who scored the second goal? That was Jacob Perez for the Patriots. Goals so far, Luis Terran and Jacob Perez for the Patriots. That was at the 11th minute and the 25th minute, respectively. And for Wekiva, we had Rosas to Grandison in the 13th minute. Free kick coming to the Mustangs from midfield. Taken there by Miguel Campaverde. Another free kick coming to Wekiva. This time it'll be taken by Connor Adkins. Cleared very quickly by Luis Terran, who had the first goal of the game. Gets it to the center. Mustangs get it out of there. And avoiding the offsides call by letting Brantley touch it first. Leons gets down there but doesn't have any help. But he gets tripped. And so the Mustangs catch a break here. They'll get a throw in. Or excuse me, a free kick. An opportunity to retie the game here as we get ready to round the 30-minute mark of the first half. Rain has stopped once again here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. We're hoping it stays that way. The players don't really mind, but the rest of us and the camera equipment likes it better without the rain. Patriots able to handle the free kick by Miguel Campaverde, and we're going back the other way. Got a man open, two guys to beat for Logan Taylor. Mustang defense able to get in place, and it's picked off on defense. I believe that was Geary. Leonce and Robertson scuffle at midfield. Patriots retreat and then come back strong. And it's too far ahead. No goal. We're going to get an offsides call. Mustangs catch a break there. Patriots had some good momentum going, but the ball just got too far out ahead of Brantley. Going to get a substitution here. In fact, a couple of them. Sebastian Abreu-Mendez and Torres both come into the game for the Patriots. And we've got a player down. That's Luis Terran, was slow to get up, and he is limping. He scored the first goal of the game for the Patriots. Shot. Save. And now we're finally going to get a stoppage. We'll see if it's long enough to actually stop time. We'll pause for a substitution here. Lightfoot's coming off, as well as Robertson. Checking in for the Patriots, number 8, Simon Gonzalez. Patriots will take a wild shot from the corner. That's not going anywhere. Mustangs pick up a throw-in coming here from Victor Martinez. Free kick. All the way to the goalkeeper. No help there. Patriots back in control across midfield. Pass to Perez. Perez spins around. Pass again. It is intercepted by, I believe, Martinez. Teron goes all the way to the other side looking for Blades. And the Patriots just not able to hang on to it. It'll be thrown for Wekiva. $11 shots for the Patriots, just 2 for the Mustangs, but one of those 2 counted. And so it is just a 1-goal game in spite of the clear advantage that the Patriots have in possession. And the header off of Diego Torres is wide. Three and a half to go here in the first half. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with you on YouTube Live as well as the NFHS Network. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us on the NFHS Network while you are there. High shot. Lobs over the net. Two minutes to go as we wait for the ball to come back. A slide there by Perez. Trips up Campaverde. It's a legal move, though. Quick shot there by William Blades is not going to go. Shot by number 18, Luis Terran, who had the first goal of the game. That one's high, not going to count. Under a minute. Free kick out of the goalie box. Goes all the way to midfield and is promptly intercepted by the Patriots. A short lob there, intended for number 21. That was Diego Torres, but the Mustangs were able to get it away from him. And it looks like that's going to let us run out the half. That takes us to halftime. We will go into the intermission with the Patriots leading 2-1. Your scoring recap from the first half. We had Luis Terran putting the Patriots on the board in the 11th minute of the first half. Then the Mustangs tied the score at the beginning of the 13th minute of the half. That was Rosas to Grandison putting Wekiva on the board. And then the Patriots retook the lead from Jacob Perez. And that was in the at the end of the 24th minute of the first half. And we haven't seen any scoring since, so we'll go into the break with a 2-1 advantage for the Patriots. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join us, whether it is in person, if you are a family member who has access to tickets through one of the athletes, or through our live streams on Wekiva Sports, the channel on YouTube, as well as the NFHS Network. We are a YouTube partner channel, and we are also a member of the NFHS Network, so we have all of our games on both of those. And you can join us for any game that you're not able to get to in person. You can join us online. We look forward to hosting you there. And speaking of that, we are going to be continuing our live streaming tomorrow as we get into basketball season, the Girls Basketball Preseason Classic, the 9th annual Girls Basketball Preseason Classic, featuring Evans, Colonial, Seminole, Lake Mary, City of Life, and Wekiva, will happen Tuesday and Thursday. Games at 5:30, 7 o'clock, and at 8:30. And Wekiva will play at the 8:30 game on each of those days. Those will be live streamed as well. Girls soccer will have their first home game of the year. They're playing away tonight. They'll have their first home game on Thursday. We'll be live streaming that on the NFHS Network through the use of our new Pixelot technology. For those of you here in the stadium, we do remind you once again of the Orange County Public Schools Health and Safety Protocol, which require that an approved face covering be worn that completely covers your nose and mouth at all times while on Orange County Public Schools campus facilities. We also ask that you please remain at least 6 feet distant from any individuals who are not a member of your own household. We appreciate your cooperation. And Juan, I see your question there. Where can I watch the JV game? The JV game that we had earlier tonight is available on the Wekiva Sports channel for on-demand replay. So you just have to go to the videos page instead of the upcoming page, and you will see it as an archived live stream. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to a few hours, depending on how busy YouTube is at the moment, because those videos have to process. So they're not always immediately available for on-demand archival streaming, but they are usually pretty quick about that. So if you would like to enjoy the JV game or this game after it's over, we do make those available for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a little break here from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Again, a 2-1 lead for Lake Brantley at halftime. We're going to mute the audio so that we do not run afoul of YouTube's copyright policies by picking up the music that's playing in the stadium over the headset microphone. But don't worry, we are still here, and we will be back with you in probably about 6 minutes. Welcome back to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium, where we are ready to get the second half underway. It's a close one here. Patriots have so far commanded the shooting game and have commanded the possession and kept control of the ball for most of the first half, but the Mustangs have made it happen when it counted, and they are still in it. 2-1 the score going into the second half. The goals in the first half coming for the Patriots from Luis Terran and Jacob Perez. And the one Mustang goal was a throw-in by Carlisle that then was an assist from Rosas to Grandison right there at the goal. And that's how the Mustangs got on the board. So it's a 2-1 game now as we head into the second half and switch sides. We're hoping the weather is going to continue to hold up here as we have been under an on and off deluge all day. The JV game was extremely wet, and now things are finally starting to dry out here. We've had some on and off mist coming into the varsity game, but so far it has actually been a very pleasant night for soccer once the storm lifted. Fortunately, we had no lightning, no tornado threats, nothing that would actually jeopardize the game. Soccer, of course, is a fairly resilient sport when it comes to weather. It is not like baseball or softball. So as long as the field isn't flooded and as long as there's no lightning or tornado threat, soccer players, broadly speaking, do not care about getting wet, and they will play in light or heavy rain. Patriots air it out. No challenge from the Mustangs at the forward position. They'll wait for it to come to midfield. Mustangs playing a conservative game, focusing on defense, just as the JV team did. The Mustangs seem to be content to hold the ball for less time, but be extremely tactical about what they do with it when they have it. The result is a game that may not have as many fireworks, but keeps the game close and prevents the Patriots from taking advantage of any momentary lapses in judgment. Mustangs get tripped up there. That's Miguel Campoverde that went down, and the Patriots are indeed called for tripping. Mustangs will get a free kick. Patriots will start this possession with a soft touch. Wekiva makes no move to hurry them. Grandison trying to chase it down and sparring with Kevin Gomez at midfield. Patriots earn the throw-in. Lightfoot's doing a good job of the ball handling there, making it an unattainable steal for Grandison. The Mustangs will get it in the box. And a sideways kick is just a little off the mark, and the Mustangs just not able to get there. The field here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium has a little bit of a crown to it, maybe a little more than you would see at a professional stadium. Part of that is to manage the pooling of water on the field. When the school was first built, it wasn't Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium at the time, it was just Mustang Field, had an extremely high crest on it. An unhealthy high crest. You could drop a soccer ball just off center and it would roll to the sideline readily, which was bothersome for soccer and also led to a lot of problems with the health of the grass on the field because all the nutrients would just run right off if you tried to fertilize the grass. And so I remember Val Miares, who was the athletic director at the time, had University of Florida out here with soil experts and everything that they could do to try to figure out how to keep this lawn healthier. And it's not perfect today, but it is a mile ahead of where it once was. In terms of, I mean, there was a time when it was difficult to play on this turf because the grass would die out in patches and turn into just Florida sand. And that would actually become a safety hazard and we'd have to fill it in. But again, those days are largely behind us. The field in pretty good condition right now. It's been a while since lacrosse season, and football has been reasonably kind to it. It got 6 weeks of rest because we had 4 consecutive away games plus the Edgewater game getting canceled during football season. So the field is in pretty top shape as it is well rested going into the beginning of soccer season. And we've got a tie-up here, and it looks like we may get a caution. And we do. Connor Atkins is shaken up on the play. That will result in a caution to the Patriots. Atkins manages to shake it off. Mustangs unable to take advantage of the free kick, though, as it goes over the end line and results in a Brantley throw-in, which they'll take from the goalie box. Not quite 8 minutes gone here in the second half at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, joining you for opening night of the 2020 boys soccer season. This is the beginning of season 14 as a corner kick comes to the Mustangs. Not able to convert on the initial kick, and the rebound shot is deflected away. Good look for the Mustangs by Jamal Leonce. It's deflected away by Nathan Petters. Another corner kick coming in. And that one is wide right. Header there taken by Amir Carlisle. Unable to cash in. So we've seen that now twice from Wekiva where they've been able to threaten very tactically. They have not held the ball for very long in tonight's game, but when they have been quite a threat, and they cashed in on the first one in the first half. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 9, Jose Escalante. Amir Carlisle, of course, was recruited onto the varsity football team by Coach Bedesom. And in case anyone from the FHSAA is listening, I mean internally recruited, as he was already a student here at Wekiva and has been playing on the soccer team for 3 years now. This will be his 4th. But the football team was desperately in need of a kicker. If you watch the first couple of games from this season for the football team, it was rough from a kicking perspective. And that's often an afterthought, particularly at the high school level. Punting is not so bad. As a matter of fact, Wekiva, in a couple of cases, including this year, has had their quarterback become their punter. Junior Muradovic does the free kicking. But place kicking is another matter entirely, and it's well suited for soccer players. I mean, the ball's a different shape, but if you've got that muscle strength and you've got that training in your calves, as we get a shot here, it's easily saved for the Mustangs. 16th shot of the game, though, for Brantley. That shot was taken by number 11. That was Samuel Lugo Rodriguez. And so the Mustangs football team desperately in need of a kicker because, I mean, hey, you end up in a situation where you're forced to go for 2 after every touchdown. And statistically, you will lose that game. Like you will make the 2-point conversion less than half as often as you would make the extra point kicked. And then it also completely takes field goals off the table, which are sometimes, it doesn't come up that often in high school football, but it is sometimes an important strategy. And when you don't have that tool in your toolkit, it can cripple you at just the wrong moment. And so Amir Carlisle joined the Mustang football team in about the 3rd week of the season this year and has been invaluable, providing that special teams boost to what has otherwise been a very strong Mustang football team. You wouldn't know it to look at their record, but Wekiva has played some of the best teams in Central Florida this year. They were supposed to play Edgewater, who's the defending state runner-up. That game was canceled because of some positive tests at Edgewater. But Wekiva has beaten Lakeland, which is a perennial powerhouse. They beat Apopka, which is a perennial powerhouse. They lost in overtime to Jones, which was ranked number 1 in the Sentinel Super 16. There's a header shot that's way too high from Jacob Perez. And so Wekiva, even though their record does not necessarily reflect an extremely dominant team, they are really in top form and really peaking at the right time as they get ready to go to Melbourne on Friday. So Amir Carlisle doing double duty. And that is one of the rare positions where you'll see football teams willing to compromise, because most of the time, like when you see somebody who's a dual sport athlete in football and basketball, generally football coaches will not bend on that. They're like, no, we can't risk injury. This kid is going to play football until we either win a state championship or get eliminated. And then once that happens, then he can come play basketball. And so very often when we have dual sport athletes, whether it's Wekiva or the other team, you end up with vacancies on the roster, sometimes from starters. A long shot coming in, and it was a laser beam, but Mustangs were right there and ready for it. That was, I believe, Zatrenis in the way of that shot. But in the case of the kicker, where soccer is Carlisle's primary sport, Coach Bedesom and Coach Glick have been able to work out an arrangement for Carlisle to participate in both, which is a great thing since he's quite an asset to both of those programs. Patriots trying to keep it in bounds. They cannot keep possession while keeping it in bounds. Intercepted by Alex Duenas. But the Mustangs will pick up a throw in here. We'll see if they have another one of those tense moments, as they've had a couple of times so far. But not so, as it's taken away by number 18, Luis Terran. Patriots not able to hold on to it, though. Duenas on the throw-in. Little tangle up and some physical action between Miguel Campoverde and the Patriots' Luis Terran. It'll be a Mustang throw-in for Osmar Ramirez. Again, with Wekiva assuming a very defensive posture in this game. And you can tell that, if for no other reason, by the sheer amount of time that the Patriots have been allowed to control the ball, but only have put 2 goals on the board. Wekiva's strategy seems to be willing to forego opportunities for aggressive advancement that would leave them potentially open. And with a team that's as fast as Lake Brantley, that may be wise. Mustangs go long, try to avoid the offsides call, but they can't do so without letting it go out of bounds. Brantley throw in. Just about 3 minutes away here from the midpoint of the second half, and we'll get the official timeout coming up. We've got an offsides call here that'll give the ball to the Mustangs. Free kick into Patriot territory. Mustangs unable to hold on to it as it is picked off there. Campoverde takes it back, but loses the ball again, this time to Luis Terran. A hard windup. The Patriots take the shot, but it deflects off of the Mustangs. That was Galarzo that got in the way of that one. Mustangs not able to keep the ball in bounds as Ramirez squares off with Logan Taylor. Patriots get the throw in. Just a little over a minute till we hit the midpoint, and then we'll get the official timeout at the next convenient stoppage in play. Mustangs desperately trying to clear it out of their territory. They do. Not enough help, though, waiting in Patriot turf. Intercepted by Wekiva near midfield. And that goes to Campoverde. Campoverde breaks free, has an opportunity, tries to get some space. Being chased by three guys, gets a shot off, didn't really have a lot to work with there. Patriots return the ball to Wekiva's side of the field promptly, and we've got a man down. No stoppage in play, though. There is no foul. In fact, we have two down, one on each side. And Wekiva is going to deliberately allow the ball to roll out of bounds so that we can tend to these. That looks like Lucas Toledano on the Patriots side is on his feet now but is limping. Meanwhile, we have another player down over toward the Wekiva box, and that looks to be, I believe that is Campoverde. Yes, it is. And that's right at the midpoint, so we'll call that the timeout as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the midpoint of the second half, and so we'll pause for an official timeout. Baptiste Orthodontics is proud to be the sponsor of Baptiste Orthodontics Stadium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. This year, more than ever, we all must stay connected with our community and remain strong as we overcome the challenges that come our way. Dr. Baptiste wishes all the players, coaches, and fans from all the teams that play at this awesome stadium to stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy each opportunity that comes their way. For more information on Baptiste Orthodontics and all of its services, including their new dentistry practice, go to their website, baptisteorthodontics.com. And we'll be right back. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you'll join us. Coming up tomorrow night, we have the Girls Basketball Preseason Classic at 5:30, 7 o'clock, and 8:30. Then more of the same on Thursday. You can also catch girls soccer on the Pixelot stream on the NFHS network. If you'd like to do that, you'd be welcome there as well. And then on Friday, we're trying to get the information on what kind of live streaming is happening at Melbourne. We'll be sure to post that information as soon as we have it. All right, we are back to live action for what could be the final time we stop the clock, depending on how things go here. No score in the second half. So those 3 goals from the first half, 2 for Brantley, 1 for Wekiva. That's all we've seen so far tonight. Good low-scoring soccer game. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with you to kick off the 14th season. It has been my honor to serve as first your PA announcer, then your sports information director, and now your broadcast host for the past 14 seasons here at Wekiva since the school opened in 2007. Of course, in 2007, we did not have nearly the technology that we have today. Live streaming by someone other than ESPN was largely not thought of as something that a high school might do, even that short time ago. And now it is something we are able to do with relative ease compared to what the process used to be. Again, we want to thank the Wekiva Broadcast Production Program, proud partners of Wekiva Sports Information in bringing these broadcasts to you. For the last 3 years, really in earnest. We started dabbling in it maybe 4 years ago, and then 3 years ago in earnest, we started really focusing on live streaming as a way to bring Wekiva sports action to more of our community members. And particularly, before the pandemic, one of the main focuses of those were, relatives and family members who may be out of town, out of state, even out of country. And we designed these graphics and procedures and how we hook the technology together and how we make it all work. We designed all of this without a pandemic in mind. No one could have predicted the situation that we are in this year, and now we find ourselves needing these types of services more than ever. So we are extremely grateful that we had the opportunity to build up this skill set before the pandemic struck, and now we are in a situation where many of our fans can't come even if they want to. There we're going to get a goal from out of nowhere. Patriot goal picked up by number 18. Luis Teran, his second of the night, and that extends Lake Brantley's lead to 3-1 with 16 minutes, 31 seconds remaining in the second half. So Tehran out of nowhere there had a goal from, probably 20, maybe a little more than 20 yards out from the goal. Just had a lane open up and perfect precision on the shot accuracy, and no Mustangs in between him and Paydirt. And so just like that, the Patriots have extended their lead to 2. Patriots pop it out of bounds behind the Mustang end line. 14 minutes to go here on opening night of the 2020 soccer season. You can get the complete schedule for Mustang soccer as well as all of our winter sports on WekivaMustangs.com. The only one we do not have posted yet, we do not have weightlifting or wrestling posted yet. Coaches are still working on those. Those start a little bit later anyway. Got a couple of subs coming in for the Patriots. Returning to the game for Brantley, William Blades, and Sebastian Abreu-Mendez. A lot of movement here for the Patriots. There comes Perez. Takes a shot. Wide right. 21st shot of the game for the Patriots. Of course, what's always impressive about watching soccer and seeing the speed with which these guys run. Here comes another shot, this one from number 5. That's Robert Soto. That one is high. The soccer midfielder can run up to 7 to 9.5 miles over the course of a game. I think probably a little bit less in this game, only because the ball has not been crossing midfield as much because of the strategic decisions that Wekiva is making about how they're managing Brantley, but certainly a lot of distance covered. And the sheer stamina that it takes, particularly at the midfield position, to be zipping back and forth at those speeds over an 80-minute period with only that 10-minute break and a couple of short intermissions, just requires a significant amount of stamina, and I know that that's a lot of what you do in soccer practices, just build up that stamina and train your body to be able to perform at that level for that period of time. Soccer is a relatively simple game when it all comes down to it, but ultimately it comes down to a game of endurance and skill. "30 minutes gone. 10 minutes to go here in the second half. Wekiva with a 2-goal deficit to make up. They get a free kick here. And they'll launch it to midfield. And into the waiting arms of number 18. That's Luis Terran. He's been very busy for the Patriots tonight as a midfielder, although I would argue that he's been playing a little more on the forward side of midfield tonight. It looked like they were trying to set up Jacob Perez for what would have been his second goal of the night, but Ball just gets out a little too far ahead of him. He's not able to chase it down before it goes wide of the plane. Mustangs unable to stay in bounds on the sideline. It'll be a throw-in coming up here for William Blades. Torres dribbles a little bit before sending it to the other side of the field. Open man! And second shot goes. Goal for number 7, Logan Taylor, getting his own rebound. That extends the Patriot lead to 4-1 with 8 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the game. And of course, the reason that I go silent for a minute or so after a goal is scored is not because I've gone for a coffee break. It is because it is time to then tweet so that we keep our media partners informed of where we are. And for those who maybe aren't able to watch the full live stream but just want to stay plugged in over Twitter, we try to live tweet any scoring plays. Particularly in football and soccer, where scoring plays are few and far between. Basketball is a little harder to live tweet while announcing, so we tend to limit those to quarterly updates. We also want to point out that obviously our first choice is to have you here in person, but we know that's not possible for many of you this year. Our second choice is to have you on the live stream. If that's not an option for you either, if you're just not in a situation where you can watch a live stream, we also have a couple of other ways you can stay tuned in. For some of our sports, football, basketball, baseball, softball, and maybe lacrosse, if I can learn how to keep lacrosse stats, we do offer live play-by-play, written stats and like graphical updates that you can get online. And we also offer, for anything on campus, we also offer a live scoreboard. If you go to wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard, we have a little app written that will scan what sport code we are currently running and will show you the appropriate scoreboard on your screen that looks just like the one that we have on the field, except that all the digits work. And we also, since putting anything on the internet is free, we put the most expensive version of the scoreboard on the internet for free. So it's actually better than the one that we have here on the field. So if you pull up a baseball one, we have like the full 9-inning scoreboard with runs, hits, and errors, and pitching number, and or who's at bat, and all that stuff that we don't even have on our scoreboard at the field. Same thing with basketball. We have a scoreboard that has all the player stat panels and all of the possible upgrades that you could get for a scoreboard. We have that, so you can pull that up on your phone or your tablet or your computer, wherever you are. Just go to wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard, and anything that we have connected at the time you will see live. So feel free to do that anytime. That is currently supported for football, volleyball, basketball, soccer, baseball, softball, lacrosse, and perhaps soon wrestling. They have to work on the programming for that. Wrestling gets complicated with some of the scoreboard features. And a substitution for Wekiva. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, number 1, Frederick Gonzalez. And flag football. I didn't mention flag football, but that uses the same programming as tackle football, so that would be included as well if you go to wekivamustangs.com/scoreboard. Speaking of wekivamustangs.com, you'll find the complete season schedules for most of our winter sports. We are still working on wrestling, and we are still working on weightlifting, but both soccer teams have their schedules up, and both basketball teams have their schedules up as well. So you can go ahead and mark your calendar, set your alarms, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on that little bell so you get alerts whenever we go live, and then you'll know whenever it's time to tune in. For the away games, we are soliciting information from the host schools of those away games. Orange County gives us the flexibility to broadcast games on whatever platform we choose. Here at Wekiva, we have chosen YouTube and the NFHS network as our simulcasting partners. But other schools do things differently. Facebook Live is somewhat common. You might even find a game on Periscope. I suppose it could be done on Instagram. I've heard they've removed their 1-hour limits for live streams. So you may find different schools using different platforms. There are a number of them. So if whatever we find out about, we will post a link to it on wekivamustangs.com so that you can tune into it. If it's free, great. If not, then we'll at least let you know what the terms are, because we do not control that except for our own games. Sam, I'm not sure what you mean. Wekiva doesn't say when the soccer team is playing, but when it's a football game. We have posted our soccer actually our soccer schedules. I think were up before our football schedule was. They were up actually I think before the last school year ended. We've had those soccer schedules posted for quite a while, and we also have the Wekiva Soccer Twitter account and the Wekiva G Soccer Twitter account, which have been promoting their games, and we've been retweeting them. So we are putting as much publicity out there as we can for our soccer programs. And we are doing our best to get as many of the games live streamed as we can, certainly all the home games. Even though there are quite a few more soccer games than there are football games. Under a minute to play now. Wekiva starting to abandon a little bit their previous strategy of playing conservatively as they try to close this 3-goal gap, perhaps by at least 1 goal in the final minute. It's going to be a throw-in for Brantley here. Throw-in by number 21, Diego Torres. Patriots don't really need to score here. They just need to finish strong. And that takes us to the end of the ball game. Patriots, with adding 2 goals in the second half, will finish 4-1 tonight on opening night of the soccer season. Patriot goals scored by Logan Taylor, who got his own rebound in the second half. Luis Terran had 2 goals tonight for the Patriots. Jacob Perez had the 4th goal. That was actually the 2nd goal. Late in the first half, Mustang goal goes to Grandison on the assist from Rojas. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight to support your Mustang and Patriot athletes. Thanks also to those of you who tuned in on YouTube Live or the NFHS Network. The next game for the boys soccer team is coming up on Thursday, November 12th, and that will be varsity only at 6 p.m. at Lake Mary Prep. So again, that'll be a road game at Lake Mary Prep this Thursday at 6 p.m. varsity only. The girls also play Thursday night at home, and that will be their home opener. And the girls basketball team has the preseason classic, 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, with other schools playing at 5:30 and 7 o'clock on each of those days. And then, of course, the football team is at Melbourne for the first round of the playoffs this Friday night at 7:30. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Wekiva Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube and the NFHS Network, and bookmark WekivaMustangs.com for all of your scores, schedules, and more. For those of you here in the stadium, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Those of you tuned in online, thanks for joining us on YouTube and the NFHS Network. We'll see you next time.